populace about the effects of smoking. And through that too, they've also been able to influence government policies as it relates to tobacco use. So they've been in the vanguard of propagating the ill effects of tobacco on both direct smokers and non-smokers.
Smoking prevalence in the adolescent population aged 13 to 15 years is estimated at 24.5%, the majority, 28.1% of which are boys, and 31% prevalence rate among youth population aged 25 to 34 years. An average adult Gambian male aged 25 to 64 years smoke about 10 sticks of cigarettes a day. This is indicative of a very high level of cigarette consumption in the country and its programs like a Smoke-Free the Gambia, which is to be launched today for smoking cessation.
With concerted efforts from news disseminators, from diverse media houses, and more efforts by the Health Ministry, the Gambia may take a quantum leap towards making the country a tobacco-free nation. Uminjai, GRTS.
A renowned musician, fondly called Flavor, early this evening jetted into Banjul ahead of a fundraising event with Gamtel Gamsel in collaboration with Coconut residents to be staged later tonight at the Paradise Suites Hotel. The singer promised his legion of fans in the country of a very thrilling show. In another development, veteran Senegalese musician Chon Balago Sek and son Wali Balago Sek also touched down at the Banjul International Airport as they prepare to perform at tonight's fundraising gala dinner organized by Gamtel Gamsel. Well, we'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this short break.
And cheapest 4G fixed wireless internet. With QCell's 4G, you can access the internet at unbeatable speeds on your laptop or desktop computer. You can also use your mobile or tablet to browse the internet via Wi-Fi. QCell's 4G internet can keep you connected either in your home or in your office. For a limited time, get 50% off regular equipment and 100% off corporate equipment, as well as free installation and free QCell credit. For more information, call 333-3253 or 333-3104. QCell 4G Internet. Fast, affordable and reliable. QCell. Sunibus. The Gambia's quality network.
Welcome back. There has been a breakthrough in the crisis in Ukraine. The government has agreed to sign a peace accord with the opposition to prevent the violence from engulfing the entire country. As we hear in this report by the CFI, President Yanukovych has agreed to hold early elections and transfer power through the parliament.
The situation in Ukraine may have reached a turning point. After an all-night meeting with European foreign ministers and Russian representatives, Ukraine's President Viktor Yanukovych announced this morning that a settlement had been reached with the opposition.
The President has initiated early presidential elections, a return to the 2004 constitution which will redistribute power in favor of the parliamentary republic. He will also begin the process of forming a government of national unity.
But protesters in Kiev's Independence Square say they don't trust him. We shouldn't negotiate with Yanukovych. He is doing this to protect himself. He's talking again to European leaders, but the Ukrainian people want only one thing: his resignation. He has effectively declared war on this country. He won't respect the agreement. I have no confidence in what he says. That's why we have to keep up the pressure every day so that he respects this agreement. Support for President Yanukovych is eroding. Since Tuesday, at least 75 people have died in clashes between anti-government protesters and police. The army's second-in-command has resigned, and the mayor of Kiev has quit the ruling party. Hundreds of government opponents are heading to the capital to support the protesters. On Friday, members of parliament came to blows after the speaker tried to adjourn a session on the constitutional changes. Even if the agreement is respected, many doubt it will have the desired effect. Opposition leaders admitted this week that they were unable to control certain groups protesting in Independence Square.
Violent clashes continue in the Venezuelan capital, Caracas, as protesters vent their anger over the arrest of Leopoldo Lopez. The opposition leader is accused of inciting violence in the country by President Nicolas Maduro. As CNN's Carl Penhall reports, the president said the protests are part of a conspiracy to overthrow his government.
Protesters carry daisies as a sign of peace. Yet over the last 2 weeks, anti-government demos have turned deadly.
We need help. That is the most important that we need in this moment. We need hope.
On lampposts, stencils of fellow opposition students killed in clashes with pro-government supporters a week ago.
These are the guys, the fallen from the 12th of February in the center of Caracas, in the La Candelaria. The policeman that shoot these guys.
Venezuela's socialist president Nicolas Maduro accuses opposition protesters of starting the violence and calls them fascists.
I don't like Hugo Chavez. I did not like him, but I like Maduro worse. I mean, I don't like him at all. I think he has, he's following Cuba.
A call for silence in memory of the dead. The students have traced out on the ground SOS, the international distress sign, Save Our Souls. They say that the crime wave is killing them. They say that inflation is bleeding cash from their pockets. And they say that food shortages are starving them. But the government argues it's right-wing businessmen who are strangling the economy in a bid to bring Venezuela to its political knees. Thursday's demo in a middle-class Caracas neighborhood was small. Students briefly blocked a street. We have to protest like this in the street. We've had enough of the government beating us up every day, he says. But there's a disagreement over tactics.
What's going on here is just another example of one of the problems that is facing the opposition, and that is internal division. Some of the students say that it's important to block main streets.
Others say the only solution is peaceful dialogue. What seems certain is that if opposition groups can't forge a united front, they stand little chance of forcing the government to talk, let alone resign. Carl Penhall, CNN, Caracas.
That report by Carl Penhall takes us to our second break. Thinking of a property partner? Think Universal Properties. Universal Properties is the leading real estate developing agent in the Gambia. Universal Properties prides itself with experience in the property business. Our properties are well located in areas such as Brufut, Sukuta, Lamin Kerawan and Tanji, close to the Camel Safari and opposite the river. The properties have all access to good road networks, electricity supply and water. Our payment terms are flexible and prices affordable.
This is Universal Properties. We urge all Gambians to come on board. We are reliable, reasonable and cheap because we want to make home affordable to every Gambian.
Visit Universal Properties today on FIB building along the Keraba Avenue. Universal Properties, the most experienced real estate company in the Gambia. Before we take leave of you, a quick reminder of the day's top stories. The National Drugs Enforcement Agency, NDEA, has renewed its resolve to tighten the nose on illicit drugs. This as the anti-narco agency nabbed 9 suspects in a major raid. Clashes have continued in the Venezuelan capital Caracas as protesters vent their fury at the arrest of opposition leader Leopoldo Lopez, accused of inciting violence in the Latin American country. And the United Nations has called for the deployment of an additional 3,000 troops in the Central African Republic, where conditions at refugee camps were frowned upon by the UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs. That was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do stay with GRTS.